Hey, welcome to the Brown Sugar and Shea Butter Show. We are glad to have you. We appreciate for you coming back and checking out episode number 2. I am Shea Butter, and this is Brown Sugar, y'all.
Hey.
So,
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, how was your weekend?
um, my weekend was good. I don't remember what happened, so I'm assuming it was a good week because I can't remember anything. So we're gonna say it was good. How was your weekend?
I had a pretty good weekend. I'm still navigating this whole dating thing, but I'm trying to be more open, so I have to try to look at the upside of things. Um, One issue that kind of came up was, I've been dating some older gentlemen, and one in particular that I was dating, he had a Nokia. So, you know,
But he
I
had a
at
what?
first and Nokia,
Oh, the phone, Nokia.
a Nokia
Okay.
phone, right? So he had a Nokia phone, and I was, I'm real particular about phones, but I said, you know what? You need to look at the upside. So the upside is that shows commitment that you kept a phone from the 90s. That shows commitment. But one thing it was kind of hard for me to get past is I mentioned that I needed to get my hair done. So I mentioned I had to get my hair done, and he said, "Oh, I can help you with that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. He offering, I'd have to ask." He said,
You got you a
he
sugar
offered to.
daddy.
No, I wouldn't say
Them
say he
old
was a
men
sugar.
be taking care of you though.
Look, so I sent him my Cash App handle, and he was like,
He
"Oh,
didn't know
I
what
don't do
Cash App
that."
was.
He was
Exactly.
like, "I'ma
He
go to
either
the post office
money order.
get the money order." Girl, take 2 weeks. And then, wait, this is the thing. He sent the money order, and when the money order came, it was like $50, right? I'm like, he still think a pressing curl costs $50. He really stuck in the 90s between that Nokia and that money order mail. I was just like, okay. But he real sweet. He's not cheap. He's just out of touch, I guess. I don't know. So
Well, you seem to be you're always adding value to any man that you deal with. I do know that about you. So this will be really
thank
easy for
you.
you to help elevate this man. Uh at least have them do MoneyGram or something like
You know
that
what I'm
instead of
saying?
going to money order
not,
and you have to tell them
not
how much
money
your hair
gram.
costs. This sir, I don't need $50. I need 150. This is what my
150.
hair costs.
Right, right. Price of curl ain't been $50, 1995.
Exactly. He must have thought you was getting a finger wave or something like that. I don't know, but
I don't know what he was going through. And then the other thing is, I'm dating different cultures and things like that. And, it's a little bit irritating trying to explain the hair situation. So one guy said, "Hey, well, meet me at the beach." I said, "Well, what are we doing at the beach?" And then he's like, "Oh, we're just gonna hang out and lay out on the beach." And I'm like, "No, first of all, I have something to do after we meet up. This is really our first time meeting up." And, I didn't have beach friendly hair, but like trying to explain that to somebody who's not black, it's like he wasn't getting it. I was like, "Look, let's just meet up at, the coffee house, and we can drink some coffee and just get to know each other, get acquainted, because me going out laying on the beach, that's not gonna work, right?" But he was insisting on this whole beach scenario, right? But anyway, so he gives me the address to the coffee house, and I'm about to leave. So I put it in maps, and it says it's closed, right? And so I call him, I'm like, "It's closed." And he was like, "Oh my goodness, they must have closed early." And so they closed. Come to find out, they closed at 2:30. He said, "Well, just meet me at the Starbucks right down the street from there." So he sends the address. Wasn't really out of the way from where I was going. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like about to pull up to the Starbucks, and then he calls and he's like, "Oh, I'm so disappointed that I didn't, do my research in advance because the Starbucks is inside of a grocery store, right?" And I said, "Well, do they have seating?" And he said, "No, they don't have seating." And I was like, "Well, look, I'm just gonna meet you and grab my latte and go on about my business because I can't do this ring around the roses with you." So,
Yeah, I don't like a man
so
without a plan.
yeah, it was just like not even cool. And basically, his whole thing was, I was like, something about him smells like poverty, right? Not like a physical smell. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a physical smell, but like I was just like, I sense poverty, right? Like it was something in his spirit that was impoverished, and I was just like, and he just talked, and he basically described where he lived was really nice, but it was like the area he lived in was nice and it was close to the beach. But he was like, I have a studio with a um TV on the floor and the mattress, like, and I'm like, he's not he wasn't joking, but I was already envisioning that. Like the more I started talking to him, and basically the guy used to be an actor, so he starts showing me these reels of different clips of movies he's been in, right? So he's been in some like movies that we know the names of for, but his career just never like really took off. And he just basically, you know, took just, a very mediocre job and live a very simple life. And he said success to him is happiness. And I said, well, I share that philosophy, but I like to do things. I like to go places, I like to do things, and I don't want, you know, money to be an issue, like in terms of just basics. It's not about being rich, but like the basics. And so basically I told him then, I said, the way he described his life, I was just like, it's not conducive to my lifestyle.
Yeah, y'all
So
aren't compatible. Did he at
yeah,
least
so
pay for your coffee?
he paid for my coffee.
Girl, that probably was his last.
I was
Um,
just like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, this is work, so that was
but
that. But mhm.
the other thing I was gonna say is don't okay, we know that he was trying to stay on a budget, which is why he wanted to go to the beach. But for future
Mhm.
reference, when
Mhm.
like I guess a boo wants to take you to the beach and you're not beach ready, you
Mhm.
need to have some wigs in your fitted.
No, see, the thing is, I would have been fine if he said, "Let's go to the beach and go bike riding. Let's go to the beach and, it's restaurants on the beach. Let's go to the beach and like any activity or something." I'd have been fine. I'm not getting in the water, laying down on the sand. That's what I was saying. Like, that's why I asked, "Well, what did you have in mind?" And and
I
I was
got some
going
hair
somewhere
for the
after.
water. That's all I'm saying. You need some wet and wavy, child. But anyway, it
You're
seems
right
like you
about
having a
you
ball
might be
doing
right.
this dating thing. I know I'm right, child. I'm trying to help you. You trying to fight it. I'm trying to help you.
You might be right about that, but I might need some some wet and wavy alternatives but I'm glad I didn't alter my plan anyway, 'cause
Yeah, yeah.
afterwards I ended up, going to hang out and stuff. So that was pretty much it,
Well,
this weekend and just, went to the kids' banquet and that was pretty much it.
it sounds like
Mhm.
a cool weekend.
Yeah, pretty chill, pretty chill. Oh, update too. Last week I was talking about the job situation. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
make it short, but I ended up actually talking to my boss about what my plans were, and he actually connected me with some people who are doing exactly what it is that I plan to do. like when I'm, complete my plan. So that was cool. He was like, I want you to be happy, so I will help to facilitate that happening in the future. So I was excited about that.
Yay! Can we get some applause? Yay!
I was excited about that.
I
Yeah. But the highlight of yesterday for me was I was watching Married at First Sight, right?
You love your
Okay, for
reality TV
I
shows.
do, I do. So for those of you who don't know, Married at First Sight, the basic premise of the show is experts um they do compatibility tests to see who would match, and then people see each other for the first time and get married. And they live together for a number of weeks, and at the end of that experiment, they decide they're going to stay married or not. But this particular couple, Elijah and Katina, Elijah reminds me so much of like those like overly macho dudes that feel like things should be the way they were in the 50s, right? And Katina, you could tell she was a party girl, but she's trying to, you know, relax some of that and just fall in the line with what he's saying and submit, so to speak. Um, but it's just like crazy because he doesn't really want her to. He's saying it's okay for her to go back to school, but if she decides that she's gonna go back to school, he's implying that he won't be there because she won't be able to meet all his needs because of 2 years of school for her to finish. So, he's, like, ready. They have a good bond, but he's ready to throw everything out because she wants to go to school and better herself, and he's so worried about having a hot meal and the house looking a certain way. And, I guess it's better now than before she has kids that she realizes how he is. But I was just like thinking about, you know, that mentality, the mentality of, you know, seeing, maybe grandmothers or, women who are older and if things were a certain way and carrying that on into today's time, because he's saying all that stuff, but then at the same time, he's saying she should have been established already and in her career already. So it's like you want her to be Susie Homemaker, but at the same time, you want her to be established and have this money situation together as well. So it's like you can't have it both ways. So I mean, that's going to lead into some of the things we're going to talk about
I,
today. But I was just like, screaming at the screen, and I cannot wait for decision day next week when the show comes
I
back on. But
I
Elijah
think
Wan
it's
was just
difficult.
driving me crazy.
I think it's difficult to navigate the two anyway because you can be that boss woman and take care of home. A lot of women do it, but a lot of them are tired for work. Some of them do find joy in doing both, but if you want me to be Susie Homemaker, I'm not working. So
Right.
that's just what it is for me. I'll be all that.
Yeah.
I'll be the whore at home and the wife that takes care of everything, but I'm
Right, right,
I'm not
right.
working.
Right. You
So
know
that's
what?
just where I'm
Because
at.
it requires so much energy to do either. So to expect someone to do both is like it's unreasonable. Like that is
Mhm.
like two different jobs. Like that's one of the things I did agree with my mom on. My mom and dad said when they got married, my mom said, "Hey, either I'm gonna be a working woman or I'm gonna be a stay-at-home wife. I am not doing both." And, my dad is crazy, so he was like, "Make that money," and he stood stood behind that and didn't give her a hard time about all that other stuff because that was what was important. But, you have a lot of people that expect you to be a lot of men who expect you to be all of the above, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting to even if you want to be all those things, it's like only so many hours in a day. And like, how can you be a relaxed, calm, cool person when you work a full time job and then come home and then and doing more full-time things, you know.
And
For me,
and
I
is he working?
mhm.
He's just working, but then I have to work and run after childrens and keep the home
Not the
together
children.
and be a slut. And you just working?
Right.
That's kind of like that ain't, it's not math ain't math. And I think that's what the young kids say. The math ain't
Right.
math.
The math ain't mathing. Right. I think the
So
best way to do it is whatever makes sense. That I always say that whatever makes sense. So if it makes sense for you to cook because you got there first, you do it. If you're better at something, then you do it. Like that competitive nature or that like, box. Well, this is what a woman's supposed to do. This is what a man's supposed to do. You have to create what you're normal with that like couple. But it was like driving me crazy looking at the screen with this guy, like, no, you have to cook. No, you need to do this. Like he was our daddy. It's like, you're not her daddy?
oh yeah. They wanna
Oh
be.
yeah. Mm. Well,
Say yes, daddy. Say
not like
okay,
that.
daddy.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, we'll get into a little bit of that, or more of that, I should say, later.
Yes.
Um, what you got for me as far as gossip goes?
Ooh, some good gossip. Let's see. Okay, so one of the things I refuse to talk about Will Smith and Jada.
I don't want to talk about that. We don't need to
Yeah,
talk
I'm
about that
not
at all.
at all. But one of the things that I guess it kind of relates to what we were just talking about too. Um, that came up is, people are giving Rihanna a little bit of flack because, she's an unwed mother and stuff like that.
No,
And it's like,
so is half of
yeah.
America, or probably more than half of America. And some of y'all that's married now didn't start off that way. So
Right,
come on now,
right,
hypocrites.
right. And not only that, it's like, I don't know, I just see a resurgence of that. Like a woman is less valuable. She is not like married. Like that is the seal of success. Not to say I don't want marriage, not to say I don't want like companionship. I want that, but it's like Rihanna is Rihanna in her own right, independent of anybody. Like Rihanna, y'all coming for her? We ain't
I
got a
mean, if she
chance.
wanted to be married, she could very well be married.
Any, many,
It-
miny, mo.
And as far as last time I checked, so could you, and so could I, if it was real,
Of course.
you know. But
Hmm.
when you dating somebody, have your fun. And she and him have more than enough money to bring a child into this world. It's different when you bringing a child into poverty, or you just keep popping out all these babies, which still I'm not even judging then. You grown folks make grown decisions. You got to handle those decisions, but leave the celebrities alone. They just normal people like me and you. That's how I feel about it.
Right, right, right. And she'll be fine. But yeah, that was kind of a shocker. I was not like expecting that. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. But yeah, nothing major going on in the headlines, really. What I was thinking about though was when I Ukraine and Russia with that whole situation.
Mhm.
I was watching like in real time some of the things that were happening like in Ukraine, and I just was wondering like, dang, could that happen here like that? I was
Absolutely.
just wondering, I was like putting myself in that situation. It was a girl that was trying to go to the grocery store, and it was like bombs going off, and I was just like, wow,
It could
you hear about,
absolutely happen here, and I could
yeah, yeah.
absolutely see them denying access to get the fuck out as well.
Mhm.
We'll
Mhm.
be the first people that they deny.
Right, 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 right. Shoot. Well, that's when it's good to have friends in other countries because we right on the Mexican border. I got some Mexican homies. I will be hitting them up. So I got some Canadian
So,
homies. I will be hitting them up. So, all them border countries, I will be. hitting them up, trying to
That's
see
real.
what it do. Oh yeah,
That's
that's
real.
pretty much what's going on, and nothing major happening in the gossip world that like caught my attention. How
Well,
about you?
going back to the only because you brought up Rihanna, I wasn't gonna share this, but since you brought
Hmm.
her up, I heard that it was around the time that she was supposed to have a baby shower. Her boo had got arrested. Did you
Oh
hear about
yeah,
that?
he did. He sure did. He did get arrested.
Yeah, so
You know what? I just feel like it's unfortunate, but it just seemed like it goes so much with rap culture. And I don't even
yeah,
know that they're doing anything different from other people, but maybe they're more targeted. You know what I mean? I don't think that a lot of them are just like wilding out necessarily more than, the average Joe, but the spotlight is on them. So it's like they can't move the same way as the average Joe. So
yeah, so I
yeah,
get it.
it was some old case, I think, and he came
It
back here and
yeah.
they
She just
hemmed
don't
him
need
up.
that type of stress,
I
on
know.
the baby. So I just felt
Right.
bad about that. But like you said, it's a part of the culture, it's a part of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of the rappers are involved in, and sometimes your past does catch up to you, especially when you're in the
Yeah.
limelight.
Right. But they got that money. He'll be out. If he ain't out already. They gonna
So
pay their way on out of that situation.
you know how they do. Aside from that, I always got my ear to the streets about some type of music, something.
Mhm.
So what I found out is that there's going to be a DOC documentary set
Mm.
to release starring Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, and more, and it's about the rap legend DOC. Um, it's titled Doc, the Doc, and it's just going to be about his career and life as he grew up into fame during the late 80s and early 90s. Since he was the songwriter rapper for NWA, Dre, Eazy-E,
I
all
love
of
to
them.
hear that because
So
it's like brings me back to like the 90s, and I'm really loving the resurgence of like West Coast 90s like lifestyle, like that was so my era. So I get excited about it. Like people trip out about like the things that excite me, but I love like graffiti art and like that type of rap music and that culture and just that West Coast attitude that men had during that time. In some respects, some of it could stay back in the 90s, but just that like
they was
homeboy, down
ratchet.
to earth.
They was ratchet. Call a spade a spade. The 90s niggas was ratchet.
Ratchet, yeah,
But
a
I'm
little
here
bit
for
ratchet.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely was here for I mean, that was my surrounding, so it's like, I may have went to school in a particular area, but after school, I was on grandmommy's block, and that's what
Hey,
it
hanging out
was.
with the Crips.
That was that's what it was. That's who helped to raise me. That's who gave me my courage. That's who taught me what I know and how to navigate in this world and not be scared of nothing. To be audacious and fearless. It came from that block. So all that reminds me of that, and I'm just like here for it and excited about it.
Okay. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm pretty hyped. I like all that stuff. Anyways,
All of it.
especially since I know they probably gonna touch on drugs and stuff, and I really like drug shit. So, you know,
What you love about drug stuff, girl?
I mean, they keep showing us how to cook crack and stuff. I don't know if
You
that's a
want to cook
message or
crack?
what. No, I just like it. I just always like drug shit. That's why I like Snowfall and all that, stuff. I don't know. I like drug shit. I don't do crack or coke or any of that. Disclaimer. I don't need y'all thinking that, but I am interested. I am I'm gonna get you, Fifi. Big ups to my bestie Fifi. She's working the soundboard for us today.
Thank
I really
you,
appreciate you,
Fifi.
mama. But yeah, so that was just my little disclaimer. But let's go ahead and get into our main topic.
Yes. Okay. So our topic is talking about feminine energy, right? So this is coming up because with all these speaking the podcast, these seven Kevin Samuels and different I shouldn't even said his name, but different um so-called experts that are all over social media, talking about what women should be and how they should be and this cookie cutter, one size fits all. This is what femininity is. That's our topic for today. And I would say this topic hit me because probably in the same week, this was a while ago, but in the same week, I had a guy to compliment me on my feminine energy and how refreshing it was to meet a woman that um knew how to just live in her feminine energy. And in the same week, have a guy to tell me that I had masculine energy in the same week. And so I was like really thinking about it, like, okay, I need to explore this a little bit more because I'm
I had to take a
confused.
sip. I had to take a sip on that one. Cause on one dude telling me I'm bound for being feminine, the other one telling me, "Yo, you're a little masculine. He want
Right,
to call you my nigga. That's what he want to
right,
call you."
right. But what I had to really wrestle with it, because I had been kind of thinking about it already. So that really confused me more. I've been thinking about it because there are some things about me that I wanted to work on in terms of my femininity. So for example, I tend to take leadership in situations, but a lot of that has been out of necessity. So if I see something that needs to get done, I just do it. Or if I'm listening to someone tell like a story or something's going on, I'm calculating in my head the action steps. And those that is under the umbrella of masculine energy. And it's not, but the thing a lot of guys don't realize it, we all have feminine and masculine energy and need to be in balance with those things to be successful, well-rounded people. So, I mean, how you can expect a woman to not ever take control or be in leadership in any capacity because you need to do that in the workplace. You need to do that in different things. But what I did recognize for myself was there are times I need to just sit back, and I'm so used to seeing an issue and just fixing it myself that it didn't allow enough space for someone to come in and fix it because as soon as I see a problem, I'm fixing it, right? So I'll give you a perfect example, and this had nothing to do with a guy. Went out with a group of ladies. We go out to dinner, we have drinks. We were out of town. We had taken an Uber to the location. I'm already thinking we're about to wrap up. I need to call an Uber so by the time we walk outside, the Uber's there, right? But in working on, taking a back seat and that I don't have to be the person to do that, I just said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. It was a challenge for me. So I didn't do it. And eventually, longer than what I would have taken, but someone said, you know what? We probably should go ahead and call an Uber. And we got to our destination. And so I had to start, looking at things like everything is not my assignment. And I need to learn how to do that. And another thing is asking for help. A lot of times I wasn't asking for help. I just, if something needed to get done, I would just figure it out. But and one of the things about feminine energy is asking for help and allowing people to help you. And, I had to learn to do that. It also helped me to become closer to other women because I was allowing that help, but it also helped me with men as well. So I got that. But the guy who said I had masculine energy, his reason for telling me I had masculine energy when I really dissected it was because I set boundaries. It got to
Girl,
a
he trying to
place.
gaslight you.
Exactly. I had already figured that out. It was like, no, because I thought about when that happened, right? He wasn't saying that at first. He started saying that when he did some things I didn't like, and I started to say, I don't like that, and that is not what's going to happen with me. I don't no, this is the line in the sand. I don't approve. That's not gonna work with me. So once I did that, and that was one of the things when I was looking at feminine and masculine energy, that it talked about that there's an unhealthy or like a toxic masculine energy. And one of those is being like overly dominant or um like controlling. That is toxic. Just like you can have toxic femininity, like insecure or codependent. Those would be considered toxic femininity. So yeah, I definitely that's definitely a topic that I wanted to talk about because I'm still trying to navigate that myself.
I had to light up on that one because I'm just thinking about the whole feminine role and the whole masculine role. And sometimes we really have to play the damsel in distress.
Mhm.
Some men like that. Um, I love calling somebody to come take my groceries out of the car because they're just too heavy for me to carry up the steps. So, can you come take my groceries out? Type shit. Even though you know I can grab them all with both
Right,
hands.
right, right, right. Yes, I get it. I
So,
get it.
but then at the same time, it's like I really don't need you though. But I'm trying to remain pleasant. You know what I mean? So like you said, try to like take a back seat, but we want things done at a certain time. And even the whole
Yeah.
Lyft Uber situation would have drove me crazy because I'm ready to go now. What are we doing? And why do I gotta wait for you to think of that ideal? It's clear. It's here. Let's go. So sometimes we gotta take a back seat and just observe and just be quiet. And that's something that I'm working on as well. But I really think it all boils down to finding that perfect, or not the perfect partner, but the right partner. There is no
Yeah,
perfect.
right.
And when you meet that right partner, whatever masculinity and femininity you have in you, it's gonna be
Yeah, it
balanced.
works.
And they're gonna love all of that about you. They're gonna like
Yeah,
that you take control. Maybe he
right.
tired of taking control all the time. And he wanna know that he can sit back and his woman got it.
See, that's the thing. I, at this point in my life, have gotten to a point where I don't want to be in control all the time. I want to be able to take a seat back and like chill a little bit, but I need to allow space for that because it's a lot. It's a lot, and I was just like, I don't, I don't want to be the boss everywhere. I mean, I really didn't sign up for that. A lot of time, it's just in my view, like out of necessity that I've had to step into certain things or I'm very action oriented, which is I guess a masculine energy or whatever, but I'm very action oriented. And I'm like, okay, well, what do we need to do? That's kind of like the space I come from. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But for me, I just feel like I need a little bit more balance because I do want more help instead of doing everything. So I want more help. So I had to kind of like reevaluate that for myself based on what I want my life to look like. You know what I mean? So that's why I did it. And I just you know, I mean, at the end of the day, you know how I am. I'm always gonna be action oriented. Okay, what we gonna do? What's the problem? What's your issue? Okay, look, even in, of course, whatever partner I end up with, if there is something going on, I'm gonna compliment whatever it is he has going
Right.
on and add to that, grow
That's our
whatever's there.
role. That's
Yeah.
what a true partner does.
Mhm.
That's our role. We are supposed to compliment, like you said, add to. You give me
Mhm.
one, I'm gonna make it two. You give me three, I'm gonna
Exactly.
make it six. But I think
Exactly.
a lot of people don't realize that concept. And when I said people because that goes for men and women.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
add to what the man has going on. I don't know how to
Yeah,
add to it.
definitely.
So,
And and then go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and then it's like the guys who are like too gun ho about the whole stay in your role stuff, like to me, some of that comes from a place of insecurity because I understand what they're saying, like about, different personalities and the leadership and all that kind of stuff. But if you have like a woman who just has a skill set that's a strength to the unit, then why would you want to silence that? Why would you want to muffle that? Like that's coming from a place of insecurity instead of
And I
looking at
don't
it as this benefits the team.
right. So I definitely don't think that we should ever, what is it? Emasculate?
Yeah,
Emasculate a man. I get that. And
right,
I know
right.
that there are a lot of women that do that. I am one. You done heard me tell somebody to sit their dumb ass down.
Sit your dumb ass
So,
down.
you know, but that's something else that that's a story for another time. That's something else that I'm working on. So now when I'm dating and I'm allowing these men to court me, I do try to speak from a place of love, but I don't do well when they get femininity confused with submissiveness.
Mhm,
I don't
mhm,
now the two can coincide, the two can go together, but
mhm.
you don't get to just enter my world, do this, do that. I want you to do this, I want you to do that. You gonna do this, you
Right,
gonna do that,
right,
and I need my woman to blah blah. You don't even know my last name yet. I ain't even told you
right,
my real
right,
name yet. You ain't even seen me without my wig. You don't know I got a bald head up
right,
under here. You talking about some submissive? Can we get to know each other?
right,
So that's
right,
just
right.
kinda where I'm at with that, and I didn't mean to blow smoke in your face.
No,
I
it's
didn't
all
have no
good.
control over that.
No, that girl, long as it ain't real life, 'cause woo, I gotta tell you the story about why I don't smoke.
We gonna say that. That's gonna be juicy because you ain't never told me, and we'd have been friends for a few years now. But yeah, that's my take on it. But I want a leader. Please let me
Yeah, of
meet
course.
somebody that is just basking in masculine energy. Please,
Right, right, right.
I would
Well,
like
I
to
will
sit down
say,
and shut up.
yeah, right. Well, I don't think you're gonna do that, but but I could see you like if a guy stepped up and just like did his thing and what he's supposed to do and like really operated in his role, then you could rest more of your femininity. Like some people say, well, if you're feminine, you feminine. It's not dependent on the guy, but that's not true. It's not true because I've been in situations where I felt secure and like, okay, I know he got me. He got my back. And when I felt like that, I was a whole nother woman than, in a situation where I gotta take care of everything and figure everything out and I gotta, be in control of the situation. Like I've been in both situations and definitely, you know, how a guy is can have an impact on that. Like I have friends that are that way. Like they are out of control. They get around they dude and they're like, okay, because that's what that guy brought out, and that guy gave them a
Mhm,
sense of security and, like, having
mhm.
their back. So that
And
is
you
like
protecting and providing.
yeah.
How
Yeah.
you want me to just not say nothing? Nigga, you about to lead us off a cliff.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That ain't working. It's not working for me.
Yeah. Definitely. Because
Oh,
I know, it was late and a guy, that I was seeing he didn't walk me to my car. So when he didn't walk me to my car, it made me look at him like different. It made me look like, if I'm dealing with this guy, I gotta be on defense because he's not even being like a protector,
Yeah.
and I grew up in a family where it even in cousins, they walk you to your car when it's male cousins walk you to your car if you were
Yeah.
leaving late. So it made me look at him like kind of different and more like I don't know, because
I
it's like he didn't protect me, and it seems small, but I was like he didn't protect me. So how can I just be soft and vulnerable and you know s- share myself when this person is not making sure I'm okay? You
and
know?
what I was gonna
So
say is like, yeah, protecting is just not always somebody broke in. I
mhm.
got you, baby. Don't trip. Yeah, that's important, but it's simple as walking me to the car late at night. It's late, and I need something from the store. I
Mhm.
really, if you around, technically, I really shouldn't be going out late by myself to go do that.
Right.
Honestly, you know what
Right.
I mean? So it's just little
Mhm.
stuff like that, and a lot of them drop the ball in that area, and they think
Mhm.
of it as it's like it's something so small, but it's
Mhm.
insignificant to them. Oh.
Right.
That's my take on
Definitely.
that, but Fifi gave us the ding, so that means our time is up for today. I felt like how you think today's episode went? I felt it went great.
It went great. It was a little bit more of a chill discussion, a little bit more intellectual of a discussion than last week. But sometimes we're gonna go deep with the conversation, and I think most, you know, women and men have had some form of this, conversation. So I thought it went well. I thought it went well, and I hope everyone watches it on YouTube. I wanted to pose a question. Maybe you guys can answer in the comments. So I was gonna ask you what what's a good question to pose for them to answer in the comments regarding this
You didn't
topic.
come with the question, girl.
It flew away because you blowing smoke in my face. I'm over here
That's a
stuck.
lie. Anyway, we gonna have a question for y'all. It's gonna be posted with the video. Don't trip. We'll have a question for y'all.
What
And we should have a IG account coming up soon, so you should be able to follow us and keep up with us. We're
definitely.
gonna be doing some world hopping, so you could check out the different worlds in alt space or wherever we decide to float to, because this metaverse thing is gonna be huge.
Yes. So thank
So,
you for tuning in, everyone.
um, I'm your host or one of the co-hosts, Shea Butter,
Brown sugar.
and it was a great episode. Y'all
All
be
right. Bye
blessed.
bye, everybody.